Thank you, Mr. Courtney. Mr. Wilson, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. And Ms. Secretary, my wife's a teacher. I just have such a high regard for the education profession. That's why I want it to be local. I believe in local elected school boards. I did not favor the creation of the Department of Education. Every effort of devolution power back to the states. We've got a great Superintendent Ellen Weaver in my home state of South Carolina. Every way to send it back to elected school boards is what should be done. Every school district is different, and every communities are different within the school districts, and so the federal government just cannot possibly understand or address the issues properly. With that in mind, another issue, of course, that you've just referenced, with Section 117 of the Higher Education Act requires institutions of higher education that receive federal financial assistance to disclose semi-annually to the U.S. Department of Education any gifts received and any contracts with a foreign source that alone or combined are valued at $250,000 or more in a calendar year. Your administration has decided to move this Section 117 enforcement to the Federal Student Office of Federal Student Aid, which has already overworked. What is the status of these reports? And this is really critical because we've got dictatorships today, whether it be war criminal Putin, it could be the Chinese Communist Party, it could be, we know, the regime in Tehran. All are trying to, through disinformation, destroy our country. And so what's being done to try to stop any disinformation?
Thank you for that question, Congressman. And first of all, happy Teacher Appreciation Week to your wife and to all the teachers across the country. You know, Section 117 is a very important section, and we take the responsibility of communicating gifts very seriously. We've reported close to 39,000 foreign gifts worth $21 billion already. We believe that transparency is critical, and having it move under FSA allows us to do that more succinctly. As you know, we're a member of the FBI's National Counterintelligence Task Force. We communicate regularly to ensure that the law enforcement arms or the investigation arms are informed with information that we have. So that system is working well, and I agree with you that we need to protect our schools from foreign influence.
And you don't have to do this right now, but I would like a question I would like for the record, if you could get back with me, as to what is the status of maintaining these quarterly reports.
Okay.
This is just critically important because it's so sad. At Yale, Stanford, and Harvard, in particular, there have been countless examples of raging anti-Semitism on the campus. These schools also had Section 117 investigations under the Trump administration. Your department has opened Title VI of the Civil Rights Act's investigations into these schools in the last few months. And we again see dictatorships trying to impact the American people as they're trying to promote their totalitarian, authoritarian view of the world. And we've just got to be prepared. And are you coordinating the open 117 investigations with the open Title VI investigations?
Thank you for that question. We have, as you know, a significant increase in Title VI investigations since October 7th attacks alone, over 100 new cases that we have, which is why we're asking for an increase to make sure that we have enough investigators to move on these cases. We take into account, depending on the investigation request, we take into account many different factors. So while not speaking generically, I can tell you that our Office for Civil Rights does take into account different factors when requests come in for investigation.
Well, I'm really greatly concerned. The FBI, Commissioner Wray, Director Wray, has warned that an attack is imminent here, or attacks are imminent across our country, and they can be facilitated by not acting against these anti-Semites who, hey, from the river to the sea, that's just a code for murder of the people of Israel. And we know that the Hamas covenant of August 18, 1988 provides Section 7, that you chase every Jew behind a rock and tree until you find the last Jew, and then with the last Jew behind a rock, you... Hey, And let me restate and make clear, because all of God's children should know, and that is that Section 7 of the Hamas covenant calls for chasing every Jew behind a rock or tree until you find the last Jew behind a rock and you kill him. And so it should be known by all Americans, and this should not be misunderstood. With that, I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Mr.